This is Judge Wish, Courtroom 1, Session 1. Can I have the parties announce themselves for the record, please?
Good morning, Lakeisha Halen, Office of the Public Defender.
And good morning, Edith Bush for the Office of the State Attorney.
All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name, sir?
Tyrone Robertson.
All right, Mr. Robertson, you're here in 2020 CF 2947AO. You're arrested for possession of a firearm or ammunition by a convicted felon and carrying concealed firearm. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. No weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. I am going to place you on pretrial release. So you need to make sure that you comply with all of those requirements, okay, as well as mine,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? All right, good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Tedros Khabib.
All right, sir, you're here in 2020 MM 1739AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's offer is an adjudication guilt, 7 days. He has credit for 2. No return to the scene, abide by trespass warning, no contact with any victims or witnesses, and court costs. May I have just a moment?
Sure.
Your Honor, Mr. Kebedy is going to accept the offer and plead no contest.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Kabidi, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained in the plea form? Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I understand. Do you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, I
Okay.
want to make sure that today's the 5th, Your Honor,
Today is the 5th.
so I'll be out by the 10th.
I don't know what day you'll get out.
I want to make sure of that.
Is that corrections? Yes. Okay,
Huh? The 10th.
by the
Mar-
10th,
March 10th.
by March 10th.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, let's
I-
let's
thank
finish
you.
the plea, let's finish the plea,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so, are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
I am.
But do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
No, I dignity down. I'm really from Ohio.
Okay, no,
But-
my question, I understand you are a U.S. citizen. My question is, do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
I'm sure I'm a citizen. I know that by INS.
Okay, so you understand
Yes,
that if you're not, that you will be subjected to deportation?
yes.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yes.
And, all right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Can't go back to the racetrack gas station at 3600 South John Young Parkway. Abide by the trespass and no contact with any victims or witnesses at that location. I'll order you pay your court costs by March 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you.
Yes,
Good luck,
ma'am.
sir.
Thank you.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Louis Alisal.
All right, Mr. Alisea, you're here in 2020 CF 3011AO. I'm reading the affidavit, and it looks like the officer put that the appropriate statute was not populating in the system. So the correct statute is driving while license suspended, revoked with 3 prior convictions, which is 3.2234 subsection 2, subsection C, which is not what was in the charging affidavit, but I think it's still an F3. So that's the citation that he provided has the correct statute on it. Okay, just wanted to make that clear for everybody. So I do find probable cause for that offense, and I'll appoint the public defender. You can't drive without a valid driver's license. And was he in, he was not interviewed?
He was not.
All right, so what I'll do is pretrial release if he qualifies, or 25, or the stay the bond at the 2,500, okay?
Okay.
Can you make sure the statute is the one that's on the citation?
Okay, thank
Because that's what I was talking about. The officer put a note in his affidavit that said that would not populate on the charging affidavit, but the citation is the correct statute. You could just put a note on in the system, or have it put in Odyssey as the correct statute, because the citation is.
That's what they should have put in there.
Well, they weren't, yeah, well, the clerks? Well, did they put the right statute in there? My guess is they were probably reading the charging affidavit. All right, good morning.
Good morning,
Can you
ma'am.
tell me your name, please?
Tony Laverne Coker.
All right, Mr. Coker, you're here in 2019 CF 9053AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for trial on February 3rd, 2020. And the judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none. Does he have the PD?
Yes.
Okay, you do have the public defender. They're gonna have to file any motions for you. Do you wanna ask Ms. Haling?
Leave that alone. I finished all those charges right there with you guys. The only charge that I had left was the police charge. And then it was, Brittany told me, Ms. Spears told me, Ms. Burrows told me, said she was going in a probation conference with the judge, that for me to come back, but she never called. But it just feel, because I called the bond on Saturday, Sunday. He told me Sunday afternoon, all drug dealers, I had no court date. And then all of a sudden, they issued a case out. I went to every last one of my court dates. I did miss not one. So I can't understand. And the bonds, when I tell you, I called him every day. I called him Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Because she said she was going to the conference. It was going to take her like 5 to 6 days, but she'll call me back. She never called me, not one time. Y'all call her friend. Never. I even tried to fire her. She never called me, never. The only time I see her is when I get ready to come to the courtroom. She don't call me, she don't let me know about anything.
Your Honor, would you entertain a bond in this case?
Well, I can't, so.
I'm just asking because
You
the
haven't-
capias
okay,
stands
so what-
specifically.
Okay, are you asking me to reach out to Judge Young, who issued the capias?
Yes, please.
Okay, for what reason?
Well, Mr. Coker has a prior failure to appear history. This case was at the trial phase. He's never missed court as far as in
Why
this.
should I entertain a bond or reach out to Judge Young when he failed to appear for a trial in this case? Like, what is he telling you that would make it a non-willful failure to appear?
That he did not have notice of the court date, and that he spoke with the Bell's bondsman. This is information.
Okay, have you researched this information?
As I was just about to say, this is information that I just received from Mr. Coker.
So I'm looking at the court file, right? And I'm showing that he was not present at the time that the case was set for a plea hearing. But his attorney was, and the bondsman was notified.
Okay.
Okay, electronically, the bondsman was notified on January 23rd, 2020. So it shows that that was sent electronically to the bondsman, okay? The day that was set for was the 3rd of February, and he did not appear in court. So I don't know why he didn't appear when the bondsman had been notified and his attorney had been notified. But that's something that you all need to put in a motion and send to Judge Young. Maybe, I don't know why he wasn't there.
Okay.
So if he's saying he didn't get notice from the bondsman, well, did he not get notice from the bondsman and his attorney? Okay, well, I don't know that, sir, and I don't have the attorney in front of me saying that they forgot to tell him or weren't able to get in touch with him. So all of that information would need to be placed in a motion for Judge Young to review and have a hearing on it. But him just saying I didn't get notified is a little different.
I don't want a problem, but I don't want the same lawyer what I had. I do not want Ms. Burrows.
Well, I can't remove your attorney, sir.
I got one more question to ask you. They
Yes.
wanted me to plead out to 100 days. Is there any way I could plead out to you today for the
No,
100
because I
days?
can't take pleas on felonies, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, I would entertain a plea, but I can't do that. So your attorney or somebody at the office of the public defender will have to file a motion and indicate in the motion that either they were negligent and that they didn't advise him, but my guess is that the day of trial, the attorney would never have let
What had happened?
or
Your
would
Honor?
would have requested Judge Young not enter a capias if there was some legal reason why they should not do that. So I'm going to let that attorney make any argument that they need to make to the judge to give him a bond, but I'm not going to reach out to Judge Young, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Tamari Jean.
All right, Mr. Jean, you're here in 2020 CF 3009AO. You were arrested for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver, possession of ketamine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Count 2, I don't find probable cause. There may be probable cause for another offense, which is the MDMA, but that was not charged. Doesn't look like anything tested positive in this charging affidavit for ketamine, and they did not charge the MDMA. I don't know if that was just a Scrivener's error, because the other charging affidavit, 2020 CF 3028, is possession of a controlled substance with a weapon, possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony, and then sale and delivery of ketamine, and there's probable cause for that because of the contents of the charging affidavit. So, I don't find probable cause for count 2.
And, Your Honor, the state's not going
Okay.
to make a request as to count 2.
All right, so no PC as to count 2, and so I'll ROR on count 2. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. Count 1 will be $5,000 ROR on count 2, and $150 on each additional count. Count 6 is $100. And then in 2020, CF 3028, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms or ammunition. Count 1 will be set at $3,500, count 2, $150, and count 3 will be $7,500. Oh, I'm sorry, and I'll appoint the PD in both cases. I'm sorry, I did not say that. Thanks. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Pierre Deshaun Morgan.
Mr. Morgan, you're here in 2020 CF 3008AO. You're arrested for carrying concealed weapon, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And I'll stay the bond at the 1,000. I'm not gonna take any action on your out on release case. You have a court date coming up at the end of the month. Make sure, do you have an attorney of the PD?
No, ma'am.
I think you do.
Oh,
It's, that, we weren't assigned on that case, Your Honor.
It's not marked. Okay, they circled PD on the FAD. No? Every day I'm getting these FADs and there's just wrong information. So I'm gonna, do you want me to appoint the PD on that case for you?
it was a misdemeanor. I was prepared to fight that.
Okay, well,
Yes, ma'am, that's
you want,
fine.
do you want to fight it with an attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll appoint the public defender in that case to represent you. Make sure you don't miss any court dates and keep in touch with the attorney, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Can I say something?
All right, please tell me your name.
Oswald Beecham.
All right, Mr. Oswald, you're here in 2020 MO 376. You're arrested for an open container violation, and I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the PD. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 4 days, Orange County Jail, 2 days credit, time served.
All right, Mr. Oswald, do you want to accept that offer? I think you'll get out tomorrow.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I'll have you sign the plea form. Mr. Mills, we're almost there. We just got to go through some move-ups. Okay, don't know if you have somewhere else to be. Okay, I didn't want to keep you waiting too long. All right, Mr. Oswald, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, yeah.
Did you understand everything contained in that plea form?
Yes, yeah.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation? Is that a yes? Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
No, I'm not wanting any.
I'm sorry?
I'm not wanting anywhere, Your Honor.
Okay, no, that's not my question. You're a U.S. citizen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea
Yes, I
will
understand.
subject you to deportation? You understand?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days with credit for 2 days. I'll order you pay your court costs by March 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good morning, tell me your name, please.
Oh, all right. Good morning.
Mr. Clark?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're here in 2020 MM 109AA. You're arrested for trespass, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer for Mr. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 5 days, Orange County Jail, 2 days credit, time served, no return to the Dollar General in Apopka, no contact with any witnesses, abide by trespass warning, and court costs.
All right, Mr. Clark, do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll have you sign the plea form, please.
All right.
Mr. Clark, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained in that plea form?
No, like,
You don't?
time.
Do you understand everything that you read in the plea form?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
You guess?
Yes, ma'am.
That's not gonna be a good enough answer for me. So what don't you understand?
I just want to know, like, how much time, how long I'm
Okay, well,
getting.
that's not my question. You have 5 days with credit for 2 days' time served, okay?
Oh, okay.
So my question is, did you read the plea form?
Yeah,
Okay, what don't you
all right,
understand
no,
about the
no,
plea
no.
form? You
I just-
understand
I just didn't understand the question.
everything
All right.
that's contained in the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
Mm-mm.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days with credit for 2 days. Can't go back to the Dollar General at 57 East Michael Gladen Boulevard. Abide by the trespass and no contact with any victims or witnesses. I'll order you pay your court costs by March 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
All right.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Shelby McLachlan.
All right, Ms. McLaughlin, how you doing today?
I'm fine.
Okay. You're here in 2020 MM 1728AO. You're arrested for trespass, and I do find probable cause, and I don't have a form for the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 7 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no contact with the witnesses, no return to the scene, abide by all trespass warnings, and court costs.
All right, Ms. McLaughlin, do you want to do that today?
Yes.
Okay. Well, have you signed the plea form? All right, Ms. McLaughlin, is that your signature?
Yeah.
All right. Did you understand everything in the plea form that you read?
I guess.
Okay, you understand all those rights you're giving up?
Yes.
Okay, are you on probation?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I don't think so either. Okay. And you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Okay.
Is that a yes? Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days with credit for 2. And you can't go back to the Walmart at 2500 South Kirkman Road. Abide by the trespass warning and no contact with victims or witnesses. I'll order you pay your court costs by March 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Yes,
Your
Ms.
Honor, my apologies to the court. I misread what I had written. It's a
Okay.
5-day offer, Your
Okay,
Honor.
so I'll amend my sentence to adjudicate 5 days with credit for 2 days, okay?
problem.
And that's the only change, all right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bush. All right, tell me your name, sir. Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Ralph Potter.
All right, Mr. Potter, you're here in 2020 MM 1730AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I find probable cause, and I don't have a form for the public defender. Ms. Bush, was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, and this one is a 7-day offer. It's an adjudication of guilt, 7 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the scene. Does he need? Okay. If he wishes for me
I'll-
to start over again, okay.
Do you want me to say what it is?
No contact with witnesses, no return to the scene, and abide by trespass warnings.
So it's a 7-day offer with credit for 2 days. You can't go back. You gotta abide by the trespass warning and no contact with any victims or witnesses. And I'll give you a year to pay your court costs, Mr. Potter. you want to do that?
Thank you.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have you sign the plea form. All right, Mr. Potter, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained in the plea form?
Yeah.
Understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you on probation anywhere?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
I am a U.S. citizen.
Okay, but do you understand if you're not, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days with credit for 2 days' time served. And you can't go back to the Wawa at 8849 Earlo Bronson Highway. Abide by the trespass warning and no contact with any victims or witnesses. I'll order you pay your court costs by March 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Okay?
Thank you.
Good luck. All right, please tell me your name.
Patricia Travasek.
Okay, ma'am, you're here in 2020 MM 173780. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause, and I don't have a form for the PD. Ms. Bush, was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 5 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the mobile property, no contact with any witnesses, abide by any trespass warnings, and court costs.
All right. Ma'am, do you want to do that?
I've been going in there 13 years. I don't know. I've been I work
I
with,
don't want you to talk about the facts of the case.
Okay.
It sounds as though that you've been trespassed and that they don't
Yes,
want you
there's-
there, and so that's why they arrested you. So, if you want to accept the offer, you can. If not, you don't have to.
well, what is another offer?
Well,
Can I bond out?
yeah.
I was buying coffee for a
I
homeless
don't want you to
person.
talk about the facts of the
Okay,
case.
I will accept.
Okay. All right, I'll have you
But I
sign the
don't
plea
agree.
form. Sorry?
I don't agree.
Okay, well, you can't go, if you go back, you're probably
I
just
will
gonna get
never
arrested.
go back there again, never. I will buy coffee somewhere else for people.
Well, that's probably a good idea.
Yes, ma'am, I know that. Thought I'd be going over.
A review of her history.
Yeah.
This date would do an adjudication credit time served with all the same conditions.
All right, so ma'am, the state's amending their offer to credit for time served.
Thank you.
You'll get out today.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you can't go back
I
there.
will never go back.
Okay.
And I buy coffee for officers too.
Okay.
My uncle was Bill Alpers was
Well-
a Detroit officer.
Well, I think that's a very nice thing that you're doing.
I know.
All
I
right,
presented
so-
them with roses, the men.
Is this your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you understand everything contained in the plea form?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
understand all those rights you're giving up
Yes,
by
ma'am.
entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Okay, you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Okay.
Is that a yes?
I'm not deported. No, I'm from Michigan.
Okay, but you understand if you're not a
Yes,
U.S.
yes, ma'am.
citizen, then it will subject you to
Yes.
deportation.
My family's here from Michigan today.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. And you
Yes,
can't
ma'am.
go back to the
I will not.
7-Eleven, all
No.
right, at the 1755 North Econology I can't even pronounce that word.
Econology.
Okay, you know where you can't go, right? Okay.
I lived on
All right, and no contact with any victims or witnesses. I'll order you pay your court costs by March 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms.
All right,
Garland.
have a good day.
Wish.
Thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Emmanuel Vasquez.
All right, Mr. Vasquez, you're here on an out-of-county warrant out of Volusia County, and the judge did set the bond at none. And so Volusia County has 72 hours pursuant to our administrative order to come and pick you up. If they don't pick you up in that time frame, and that does not include weekends or holidays, then you'll come back before a judge here, okay?
So, I'm sorry,
They have 72 hours
Uh-huh.
pursuant to our administrative order, not
ma'am.
including weekends or holidays. We have the weekend coming up.
Okay.
And then, so if they don't come and pick you up in that time frame, you'll come back before a judge here.
So I'll come back here if they don't pick
If
me
they
up
don't
within,
pick you
within
up in the
72
time,
hours.
not including weekends,
Okay, okay.
okay?
Gotcha.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Daniel Carver.
All right, Mr. Carver, you're here in 2020 MM 859AO, and the PD's office filed a motion for release on your own recognizance or on the alternative to reduce your bond. Currently, your bond was stayed at $250 on count 1 and reduced to to $100 on count 2. And has there been any discussion about?
Your Honors, the state has concerns about Mr. Carver being released on his own recognizance without some clarification of contradictions in the motion and his other documents.
Okay, and what are the contradictions? I'm trying to,
The contradictions are his place of employment. On his information sheet, it shows 12 years at one company. The motion shows a temporary labor company. Also, the 12 years, there's a contradiction there because he says he's been employed full-time at a local employer, yet the majority of his crimes span 7 states, the latest one being last year in another state. So the state has some concerns about those contradictions, Your Honor.
all right. Ms. Haling, do you want to have Mr. Carver sworn in?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Carver, raise your right hand to be sworn in, please. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down.
Can you state your name for the record?
Daniel Carver.
Mr. Carver, I'll start with your employment history. Prior to your arrest, where were you employed?
I was working temporary with Staff Zone. I was employed with Wintech, but I haven't worked for them within a year because I've been working with Staff Zone.
Okay, and Staff Zone, is that a day labor?
That's
company?
correct. It's temp to hire full-time.
Okay.
I'm
When
sorry, you're gonna have to just talk up a little bit.
Temp to hire full-time, Your Honor.
Okay.
When was the last time you worked with Staff Zone?
Prior to my, February the 3rd, my arrest date. That's
Okay.
correct.
So when you are working with Staff Zone, how often do you get paid?
I'm on a weekly ticket. That's, it's like really full-time. It's 40 hours a week, and plus if I get overtime.
Okay, and so on the week ticket, do you get paid weekly?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and about how much do you earn on a weekly basis if you work the entire week?
It's usually about 780.
780?
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have, well, first off, you said Wintech. When was the last time you worked at Wintech?
That was a year ago.
Okay.
That's correct.
And do you have a savings or a checking account?
I do have a checking account. It's just my balance is overdue right now. So.
Okay. When you were arrested, did you have any money on you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, how much?
I believe it was $68 and something on the books.
Okay. How long have you lived here in Orlando?
I've been here 15 years.
Okay, and the address that's within the motion, is that where you've lived since you've
Correct,
been here in
20.
Orlando?
Yes, Conway Street.
Okay, and that's with your sister?
That's correct.
Okay, have you reached out to your sister to help you with pay your bond?
Yes, currently, she just didn't have the money to pay the bond at the time being, so that's why we motioned for the signature bond.
Okay, and do you have any other family members here in the Central Florida area that could help you with your bond?
No, I don't.
Okay, I do, Your Honor, if he is released today, the address within the motion is where he stay. How do you plan to get back to court if you are released?
I could, basically, it's not for a bus or a car. I mean, I'm just right in downtown.
Okay, do you understand that you can't return to the Walmart located at 3101 Princeton Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's very important that you attend your future court dates. With that being said, do you agree to keep in contact with your attorney until your case is resolved?
Of course,
And to
yeah.
return back to court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have no further questions, Your Honor. I do just want to make a note for the record that Mr. Carver was arrested on February 3rd. Today is 32 days he's been in on these charges and no information has yet to be filed. We're just asking the court if you would release him on his own recognizances.
All right, Ms. Bush, do you have any questions for Mr. Carver?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, can you give, is the state intending to file by tomorrow?
Your Honor, I can't respond to that because I don't know what the intent is downtown. I don't know where this is in the process at this time.
Okay.
And Mr. Carver,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said that you are currently working for, I believe it was Staff Zone,
Yes, ma'am.
and you said that you work on a weekly ticket, is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
And you say that you essentially work a 40-hour week, is that
Pretty
correct?
much, yes, ma'am.
And that you make about $780 a week, is that correct?
That's correct.
And on your application for criminal indigent status, the application for the public defender, you said that you also receive Social
Yes,
Security
ma'am.
benefits
That's
in the
correct.
amount of $800 a month, is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
And in addition to that, you said that you have a savings account,
That's correct.
correct? But you said that it's in a deficit right now?
Yes, that's correct, ma'am.
At the time that you filled this application out, you said that you had $800 in your savings account, which would kind of correlate with the $800 Social Security. Are your Social Security benefits
$800.
deposited into your bank account?
That's correct. It's
Okay.
direct deposit.
And Mr. Carver, are you known by any other names?
Darrell Lindsay. That's
Darrell
correct.
Lindsay.
Yes, ma'am.
And how often do you leave the state of Florida, sir?
Well, Staff Zone have offices in different locations, ma'am, and I do operate equipment, so sometimes they'll send me to another state as far as, it depends on the job site that they have. I do site work, which is like clearing land, bulldozer, track hole, front end.
So as part of your employment, you do leave the state of Florida?
Yeah, from time to time. I mean, it's not, I'm generally employed with this office here in Orlando. When you,
And I apologize for
Yes,
cutting
ma'am.
you off. And does your job send you to states like South Carolina?
yes, ma'am. they
How
have-
recently were you in South Carolina?
Was it?
Were you in South Carolina sometime toward the end of last year, beginning of this year?
Yes, that's correct.
I have no further questions, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Anybody have any argument other than what I've already heard?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, the state just has concerns because he does go in and out of state. The state has concerns about the contradiction of his finances. It appears that Mr. Carver has a savings account. He gets $780 a week when he's working, and he said that he has a weekly ticket, that he works weekly, and he also gets $800 a month in addition in Social Security disability income. The state would object to an ROR, Your Honor, and would ask that the court stay the bond at $350.
All right, Mr. Carver, what, have you tried to reach out to anybody to get the money out of your bank account to pay your bond?
Yes, I have. And the problem is my bank card was stolen, so I have to contact Direct Express. And as far as my temporary work, it's not guaranteed that I'm going to make this amount because it is a temporary service at any time.
I'm talking about the $800 that's in your bank account.
Well, Your Honor, I can't get access to it because I have to reorder my card, and I can't do it from in jail.
So you don't have any family members or?
Well, I'm
anybody
trying to
that-
get my sister, but the only thing with Social Security, when you're dealing with Social Security, they don't want to deal with an outside party.
Right, but your Social Security is deposited into your bank account.
That's correct.
Okay.
It's directed by
All right, after I've heard the testimony, I've reviewed the affidavit, I've reviewed the motion, I've reviewed the charging affidavit, I've reviewed the affidavit for, or application for criminal indigent status and the criminal history here and all the places that he's lived and the things that he's told pretrial release that seem to not be very accurate based on his testimony today. So I'm going to deny the motion. I don't have an order. Oh, I do. All right, Mr. Mills, thank you for your patience.
No problem. No problem. Thanks for letting us reset it for
All
today.
right, no problem, and happy to accommodate. All right, can you tell me your name again today, sir?
Francisco Gutierrez.
All right, Mr. Gutierrez, you're here in 2 cases. And- All right, so first we've got 2019 CF 15400AO. And that's burglary of a structure with an assault therein with a firearm, kidnapping with the intent to commit a felony with a firearm, there's 3 counts of that, hindering communication of a witness in a life felony, 3 counts of that, robbery with a firearm, 3 counts of that, and grand theft. And that's pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was previously found. Mr. Mills, are you intending to file a notice of appearance, or have you done so?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And and then we've also got 2019 CF 14998AO. And that was also arrest pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for armed robbery, kidnapping, carrying concealed firearm, and grand theft 3rd degree of a felony. And so the first case that we've got here, we've got a life felony, and then 3 counts of a life felony, 3 counts of a life felony, 3 counts of a 1st-degree felony punishable by life, and then an F3. And so, Ms. Bush, does the state wish to be heard as to bond on those charges?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court, based on the affidavit, to issue the warrant, which contains facts that are attributable to identifiable witnesses and victims. Also, those witnesses include silent witnesses such as surveillance video and also statements made by Mr. Gutierrez. And those statements, while minimal in this matter, they do include the fact of his prior employment at the location. And beyond that, there are no other statements. But the surveillance video, the cell phone records which place Mr. Gutierrez's phone in the proximity in the same area as the robbery in this, as the burglary in this matter. The state would ask the court to take the facts that are contained in the affidavit, find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Gutierrez is the victim that is identified as the Hispanic male, the person that is in the seen in the getaway car on the surveillance video from the highway, and also the person that admits that he had worked just a few weeks prior at the same location as a general manager and knew the schedules of the employees, and also the person whose phone records show that he was in the same location at the same time of the robbery, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to find proof is evident or presumption is great that this Mr. Gutierrez is the person so identified, and would ask the court to hold him at no bond as to the life felonies and the F1 punishable by life offense.
All right, and Mr. Mills, obviously, even if I found proof evident, you would not be waiving any
Correct.
right to an Arthur hearing downtown.
Right.
So I don't know if you want me to make a finding or not make a finding, or have whatever hearing that you want to have downtown, either way.
I would prefer that Your Honor consider it. I don't think that the evidence in that case rises to the level of proof evident. Presumption is great. I think in that case, he's identified by someone from surveillance video that recognizes his mannerisms. That's probably one of the more weaker identifications I've ever heard of in a serious case like this. And the mere fact that his cell phone appears to be in the area, I don't think, well, perhaps circumstantial, does not rise to the level of proof evident and presumption is great. It's not caught with any of the stolen property or anything of that nature.
I read this yesterday, so I'm just reviewing it again. So what gives me a little bit more information here is really the last major paragraph of the affidavit on page 7, which talks about his denial of being in the city of Apopka, yet his phone records indicate that he was there during the time frame of the robbery, and that also there were images downloaded, similar images of the clown-style mask located on the phone. However, it doesn't appear that the victim identified the photographs as the same clown mask, although it's strange to me that there would be a clown mask photograph and also a denial. But so I don't find that there's proof evident presumption great. So I'm going to set bonds, but on that case, before I get there, no return back to the Fuddruckers, no contact with any victims or witnesses or co-defendants, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. If you have a passport, I don't know if you do, but if you do, you'll have to surrender that to the clerk's office within 12 hours of any release from the Orange County Jail. If you do not own a passport, your attorney can help you with this. You'll have to file an affidavit notarized under oath, subject to perjury, that you do not own a passport, okay? And that will be filed with the clerk's office. As it relates to count 1, the bond will be set at $50,000. Count 2 will be set at $3,500. Count 3, $3,500. Count 4, $3,500. Count 5, $150. Count 6, $150. Count 7, $150. Count 8, $25,000. Count 9, $3,500. Count 10, $3,500. And count 11, $3,500. And so now that brings us to the second case. And that was 2019 CF 14998AO. And I've already reviewed those charges. And Ms. Bush, count 1 is a punishable by life felony. Count 2, I believe, is punishable by life. And then count 3 are both, and count 4 are both third-degree felonies. And so does the state wish to be heard as to bond on
Yes,
those
Your Honor.
charges?
The state would ask the court to take into consideration the affidavit to issue the arrest warrant. That affidavit contains facts that are provided by identifiable witnesses and victims, and they also contain facts obtained through surveillance video, as well as video that provided information that led to Mr. Gutierrez's address and his name based on the getaway vehicle in this matter as well. And the state would ask the court, based on those facts, to, and based on the facts of the text messages sent between Mr. Gutierrez and the alleged co-defendant in this matter, that refer to what is believed to be the job that they were committing, that the court find that proof is evident or presumption is great as to count 1 and count 2, that Mr. Gutierrez is indeed one of the 2 suspects that perpetrated this crime. The state would also ask the court to take into consideration that Mr. Gutierrez in 2019 CF 3581 has a pending matter in Osceola for robbery with a firearm, petty theft, that also occurred around the same time period The state would ask the court to take into consideration in the affidavit to issue the warrant that there are references made to the Osceola Sheriff's Office as well regarding the robbery that occurred on October 6, 2019, in which Mr. Gutierrez was also identified. The state would ask the court to find proof is evident or presumption is great, and ask the court to hold him at no bond as to count 1 and count 2. He is entitled to bond as to counts 3 and 4.
Mr. Mills?
Judge, I think the evidence in this case is even weaker, at least as it pertains to my client. With regard to the text messages, they're nonspecific about what they're about. There's no indication of anything other than perhaps, again, circumstantially. He doesn't appear, at least on my review of the affidavit, to have made any statements that are incriminating in this case. Again, not caught with any of the stolen property. And I don't think that he's anything other than perhaps, at best, a driver in this case, which of course would make him a principal, but so we'd ask that you grant bond.
All right, well, I actually disagree, and I find that it's actually more incriminating based on the statements how I'm interpreting them on the cell phone, as well as the video through the tolls and the time frames, the phone records. I understand that it was, when I was reading the affidavit, it was strange to me that the whole last portion of the affidavit, as it relates to just specific charges, talks about the co-defendant. I don't know who prepared, in terms of preparing the warrant, if that was just Scrivener's errors, but that portion is not really substantive as it relates to the facts. As alleged in the affidavit. So when I'm reading the facts alleged in the affidavit, obviously he's alleged to have been a principal, and I think that proof is evident and presumption is great based on all of the allegations and in the affidavit and everything that I specifically mentioned that I'm looking at. So I do find proof evident, presumption great on count 1 and count 2. And I'm going to hold him at no bond on those charges. Count 3, the bond will be $5,000, and count 4 will be $150. Conditions of any release, if you are to be released, and Mr. Gutierrez, your attorney, will file a bond motion, I am sure, downtown, for you to get a much larger type of bond hearing, and witnesses possibly would present evidence on your behalf, okay? So no return back to the scene, no contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and the same goes for the passport. So you'll need to comply with any of the surrendering of the passport on both of those cases. Did I need to address anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Natasha Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, or Miss Anderson, sorry, you're here in 2020 CF 2985AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'll place you in pretrial release. Make sure you comply with all of their requirements as well as mine. All right, please tell me your name, please. I'm sorry.
Andrea Bass.
All right, Ms. Bass. You're here in 2019 CF 15492AO. And did the bondsman come off the bond, or?
I believe they revoked it in Osceola County.
Okay, so why do I have it?
I was out on a cash bond.
Right, no, I have the
Here.
notes from Osceola. It says that the bond for Orange was revoked, and, but I can't do a bond hearing here on a felony, so I don't know why it's set.
I was,
Well, the bondsman didn't come off, the bond was revoked. Yeah, so I don't know why I would see her. Okay, so I'm not gonna take any action because there's nothing that I can do. Her bond was revoked in Osceola, so the public defender's office, my guess is they represent her, or no? I mean, I have a form for the PD. Maybe was to appoint the public defender, but
Okay, so you're saying you can't reinstate a bond today?
the bond was revoked.
Okay.
So a judge would have to, in the division, would have to have a bond hearing. A motion would have to be filed, just like any other time that bond is revoked here. So no public defender. So they should have probably appointed the PD at the initial appearance on her other case, when her bond was revoked. So I'll appoint the PD, and that's probably what should have happened. That's what we do here. So, so the public defender's office will have to file a motion to set bond for her, okay? What the PD's office could have done was just file a motion for determination of counsel.
I think what happened was she never saw, on this case, she was never seen for initial appearance.
Because she bonded,
charges.
she bonded before I had.
Yeah.
But either way, her bond was revoked, like, yeah, it shouldn't have come to me.
Yeah, oh, no,
No.
I mean, I don't get it.
I don't have an attorney.
You do, I just appointed an attorney
So
for
how long
you.
does that take?
Well, I don't know, but she'll give you the phone number and you can call that number today. All right, please tell me your name.
Bruce Glenn.
All right, Mr. Bland, you're here in 2020 CF 3025. You're arrested for possession of MDMA, and that's pursuant to a warrant. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm gonna stay the bond at the $5,000, but I'm not revoking any release. All right, please tell me your name.
Heidi Conception.
All right, Ms. Conception, you're here in 2018 CF 17830. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found, or excuse me, a capias, and state did file an information, and a judge found probable cause for defrauding a financial institution, grand theft third degree of $5,000 or more, and uttering a forged check. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. So no contact with any victims or witnesses or possible co-defendants, and no return back to any SunTrust bank. I'm gonna place you in pretrial release, okay? So you need to make sure that you follow all of those requirements as well as pretrial releases, okay? All right, please tell me your name.
Aaron Davis.
Mr. Davis, you're here in 2019 CF 12482AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for a case management conference on February 5th, 2020. The judge did set your bond at $5,000. So if you're able to bond out, you can bond out. If not, the Public Defender's Office will have to file a motion. Okay? All right, please tell me your name.
Marcus Atkins.
Mr. Ekins, you're here in 2019 CF 9104AO, and you were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for case management conference on November 18th, 2019. The judge did set your bond at none. Does he have the PD in that case? Okay, you have the public defender in that case. They're gonna have to file a motion for you. In 2020 MM 1736AO, you're arrested for petty theft. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You're on probation, so I'm not gonna try and resolve your case today. So you can't go back to the Walmart at 3101 West Princeton Street. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case, and the bond will stay set at $250. All right, please tell me your name.
Dennis Hoover.
All right, Mr. Hoover, you're here in 2020, 3012AO, and you're arrested for possession of synthetic cannabinoids. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription in 2020 MO 375. It's a disorderly conduct, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. We can't resolve the felony today, so, and I don't want you to resolve one case and not the other. And I have a recent failure to appear and a recent conviction. Mr. Hoover, if I release you on your own recognizance, you understand how important it is to show up to court,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Because you have a recent failure to appear. My guess is that was a no bond.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you had to sit in jail for a while?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't want to do that, right?
I don't.
Okay. So, very important you keep in touch with your attorneys and you show up to court. If you come back with a no bond capias, I can't do anything for you,
Right.
okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm gonna ROR on both.
Thank you.
All right, good morning, tell me your name.
Hey, good morning. My name is Donovan Hunter.
All right, Mr. Hunter, here in 2019 CF 13237AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant, which probable cause was found for grand theft third degree. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. So no return back to the Neiman Marcus. And no contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And the bond will stay at the $2,500. All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Moses James.
All right, Mr. James, you're here in 2020 CF 2995AO. You're arrested for petty theft, 2 prior convictions, and resisting an officer without violence. You do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No return back to the Walmart at 10500 West Colonial Drive, Nacoe. No contact with any victims or witnesses, and abide by the trespass warning, and no contact with any co-defendant either. And the bond will stay set at 1,000. I'll reduce count to 100. Good morning, tell me your name, please.
Leno Jesse Jean.
All right, Mr. Jean. You're here in 2020 CF 3006AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine. Do you find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol out of valid prescription. The bond will stay at 1,000. I'm not going to take any action on the add-on release cases. I did see a competency evaluation recently filed in that case. There's a hearing set. So make sure you don't miss any of your court dates, Mr. Jean, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please tell me your name.
Joshua Jett, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Jett, you're here in 2020 CF 3016AO. You're arrested for resisting an officer with violence. Do you find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. 2020 CF 3017AO, driving while license revoked as a habitual traffic offender. And I find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. In that case, no driving without a valid driver's license. And the bond will stay set at the 2,500, and I'll stay the bond in the resisting at 1,000, no weapons or firearms or ammunition. They filed an on-view violation of probation out of Palm Beach County, and there's probable cause for that. Is there just one? Yeah. And I can't appoint the PD for you in that case. But if you bond out of these other cases, they'll take you to Palm Beach as long as there's not a VOP filed here. And I don't know if they'll file a violation of probation. Are you on probation here in Orange County at all?
They're supervising,
Okay,
but
all
Palm
right.
Beach is the original kind. That's why.
Yeah, it goes back to the
Palm Beach.
original one, yeah.
Yes.
So if you bond out here, I think they'll take you to Palm Beach County if there's no other holds for you here.
Yeah, I'm not bonding out.
Okay? All right, please tell me your name.
Christina Johnson.
All right, Ms. Johnson, you're here in 2020 CF 2920, and you are arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for kidnapping with the intent to commit a felony with a firearm. And I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I think this is a life felony, not punishable by life, but either way, it's either punishable by life or a life felony. Ms. Bush, does the state wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor, if the state may have just one moment. Apologize, I closed it. state is going to ask the court to take into consideration the facts that are contained in the affidavit to issue the arrest warrant. Those facts contain statements by identifiable witnesses, but they also contain investigative tools that were utilized with regard to the identity of Christina Johnson. The state would ask the court, based on those facts, to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Christina Renee Johnson did participate and was present at the kidnapping with the intent to commit a felony, Your Honor, with a firearm,
Ms. Haley?
and hold her at no bond.
Your Honor, the defense is asking that you just take into consideration Ms. Johnson's lack of criminal history, and that you set a bond on the count here at $25,000.
Okay, so I do find proof evident presumption great based on the affidavit and what's contained within it. But I'm gonna exercise my discretion and I'm gonna give you a bond. You have no criminal history. You were cooperating with the police. And I don't think that you're a flight risk. Before I get to the bond, no contact with any victims, any witnesses, or any co-defendants, okay? Or anybody named as a co-defendant or could possibly be a co-defendant. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, I don't know if I said that. And, Ms. Hanning, is she still working at the public storage?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you still have your
I
job?
live there as well, yes. I live there and I still work there.
Okay, all right. Right, so I am gonna set the bond at $30,000. Keep in touch with your attorneys. Don't miss any court dates,
Yes.
okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear the amount.
30,000. All right, please tell me your name.
Eric Keenan.
All right, Mr. Keenan, you're here in 2020 CF 2975AO. You're arrested for petty theft, 2 prior convictions. Do you find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. No return back to the Publix at 5265 South John Young Parkway. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And the bond will stay set at 1,000. Mr. Keenan, I'm not gonna revoke your release today. Look at me. If you come back and you have another case, I don't care if it's an open container or anything, okay? You're out on release on 2 cases, both thefts, some drugs. It's not gonna be a good day, okay? So if I see you again, it's probably gonna get revoked, okay?
Yeah.
Samuel Linton, bonded, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Lopez Julio, mental health.
All right, we'll reset. All right, tell me your name.
Richard Lopez.
All right, Mr. Lopez, you're here in 2020 CF 3015AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis, possession of drug paraphernalia, and I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond on count 1 will stay at 1,000. I'll ROR on count 2 and count 3. And looks like they filed an on-view VOP out of Osceola County, and there's probable cause for that. I am going to appoint the public defender in that case for you while you're here, same circuit. So they can file any appropriate motions to set bond for you on that case. I'm not sure if you would see Judge Whitehead, no? Or if he would have to wait. Okay. No, he'll have to wait. But I did appoint the PD for you, so you can contact them, okay? No, I don't know if I said it, but no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription on the first case. All right, please tell me your name.
Jacques Metlock.
Mr. Metlock, you're here in 2020 CF 276180. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was found for retail theft, coordinating with others. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. No return back to the target at 4750 Millennia Plaza Way. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case or co-defendants. And the bond will stay at 1,000. I'm not going to revoke your release. It looks like the misdemeanor case, well, it came in as a felony, but charged as a trespass. So you have a court date, well, yesterday. So I don't know what happened with that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have an attorney?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna appoint the PD in that case for you too,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
Make sure you keep in touch with your attorneys. Might wanna find out what happened yesterday. All right, good morning, tell me your name.
I'm Martin Nelson.
All right, Mr. Nelson, you're here in 2020 CF 3029. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for sale and delivery of cocaine within 1,000 feet of a school. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay set at the 10,000. All right, good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Morgan Reese.
Mr. Reese, you're here in 2019 CF 11940AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for a pretrial conference on January 8th, 2020, and the judge did revoke the release, set the bond at none. And does he have the PD? Okay. Public Defender's Office is going to have to file a bond motion for you with the judge in Division 11.
Ma'am, I shouldn't even be here because I changed my address like 4 months ago, leaving a message with the public defender, changing my address to 24
Okay, so your
Roslyn.
attorneys will be able to put whatever you're telling them in a motion, okay?
That means I got to spend 30 days in jail for nothing then.
Well, I don't know how long you'll be in jail.
Until I go to court, it's going to be 30 days before I go to court.
Well, they'll file a bond motion and it should be heard fairly quickly. All right, please tell me your name.
Jerome Styles.
Mr. Stiles, you're here in 2020 CF 2986AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis, less than 20 grams. And I do find probable cause. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in that case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And the bonds will stay at $1,150, and I'll ROR on count 3. 2020 MM 1731AO, it's providing false ID to law enforcement, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the PD. The bond will stay set at 500. 2020 CF 2977AO, it's a warrant. Probable cause was found for grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. And the bond will stay at 1,000, and I'll appoint the PD in that case as well. You're out on release in 2020 CF 2129AO. I am gonna revoke the release and set the bond at none in that case, and looks like you do have an attorney, and so they'll be able to file any motions to set bond.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me your name, please.
Timothy Paul Taylor.
All right, Mr. Taylor, you're here in 2020 CF 3013AO. You're arrested for possession of amphetamine, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and the bond will stay at 1,000. 2020 CF 2981AO, it's a warrant. And probable cause was found for possession of MDMA, possession of cocaine, tampering, and resisting an officer without violence. And I'll appoint the public defender, and the bonds will stay set, as in the warrant, at 1,000, 1,000, 150, 150. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Please tell me your name.
Alvin Torres.
All right, Mr. Torres, you're here in 2020 CF 3007AO. You're arrested for driving while license suspended as a habitual traffic offender, and I do find probable cause. And you make $1,000 every 2 weeks? Is that your paycheck?
We are kind of guessing, ma'am.
Huh?
We guessing around there.
You're guessing?
Yeah, because sometimes I get a little OT. Sometimes 40 hours is like 900 to 1,000, you know.
Okay. Do you have any kids?
I got 3.
3?
3.
They live here?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
claim them as dependents? You
I
pay
pay
child?
I pay child.
All right,
support.
well, they have you with no dependents here, so I'm gonna put 3, and I think you're gonna qualify now. So I'm gonna appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
I pay around. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
sorry.
I believe you. All right, and so no driving without a valid driver's license. And it looks like they weren't able to qualify you for pretrial release because you couldn't remember your address or describe the area other than it was somewhere in Maitland.
Don't know the address. I'm sorry about it.
How long have you lived there?
About a year.
A year?
Yeah, but anyway.
Okay, because your license, it looks like it's got Jacksonville or something.
No, it was.
Well, that's what's on the charging affidavit.
Illinois, ma'am.
Okay.
It was in Illinois
You
and
couldn't remember phone numbers
Mine.
or anybody that they could call?
I know my phone number.
Okay. So, yeah, well, they can't call you to verify your
True.
community ties.
But I try to. I write down some phone numbers, so it's on my
Okay.
personal stuff.
So
and-
what I'm gonna do is, I'm
Yes.
gonna either I'm gonna stay the bond at the 2,500 or pretrial release if they qualify you. Unfortunately, you've gotta be able to give them some information other than somewhere in Maitland.
I do have the information,
Okay,
but
well,
it's
you'll
everything.
need to give it to them.
Not on. It's everything on my personal stuff. You know
Okay,
what?
like even like intersections or, the closest streets to where your house
Well,
is.
when-
Okay,
when I
well,
get-
you can't tell me because I can't qualify you. So So you're gonna have to tell them, okay? Or call somebody that you can figure out where you live, okay?
No problem,
All
ma'am.
right.
Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Jonathan Terry Willis.
All right, Mr. Willis, you're here in 2020 CF 2988 AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Mr. Willis, you've never failed to appear for court, so I'm gonna release your ROR. Make sure you go to court. I don't think that you won't. And so, no drugs or alcohol. If you get arrested again, or you miss court, it's probably not gonna be a good day, okay?
Okay.
All right, please tell me your name.
William Rivera.
All right, Mr. Rivera, you're here in 2020 CO 201. You're arrested for possession of alcohol on the street, sidewalks, or alleyways and littering. And I do find probable cause. I don't have a form for the PD. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. It will be an adjudication of guilt. 5 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right, so Mr. Rivera, it's a 5-day offer with credit for 2 days that you've already served. I might get you out on Saturday. Okay, Saturday or Sunday, maybe? Maybe the end of the day, Saturday? I don't control the doors or the time, but I'm trying to give you a perspective on if you want to accept that offer. If not, I'd put you on pretrial release, but you got to go back to court, and you can't violate any conditions of your release. So,
And you put me in pretrial release, it'll be fine, you know what I mean?
is that what you want to do?
Yeah, because
You
I-
just got to
I-
show up to court.
Yeah, I sure, I
Okay.
just don't want to lose my job that I have.
Okay, so.
Because I don't know if they can wait to Saturday.
That's fine, and you don't have to take the offer today, so, just make sure you go to court, keep in touch with, do you want me to appoint the public defender?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
so I'll appoint the public defender, you'll have an attorney, you gotta keep in touch with them, okay?
Okay, man, no problem.
All right. Good
Any
luck.
conditions with it, Your Honor, or just a
No.
straight PTR?
All right, please tell me your name.
Contessa Bostic.
All right, Ms. Bostic, you're here 2020 MM 1735, and you were arrested for resisting an officer without violence. Do you find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
No, ma'am, I haven't heard anything.
Hold on.
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 10 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
All right, Ms. Bostic, do you want to talk to Ms. Haling about that real quick, or?
Yeah, and may I have a moment? Sure. Your Honor, Ms. Bostic is going to accept the offer and plead
Okay.
no contest.
All right, Ms. Bostic, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes.
Did you understand everything contained in the plea form?
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
She pretty much said I'll get 10 days
Okay, well, but
mandatory.
that's not even in the plea form.
Oh, just
So,
the,
right,
yeah, I read
I'm talking
them.
about all the stuff that's in the plea form.
Mhm.
Did you understand it?
Yeah,
Okay, you understand all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
yes,
Okay, are you on probation anywhere?
no,
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
correct.
All right, I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 days with credit for 2 days' time served. Order you pay your court costs by March 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Sean Johnson.
Do we know what happened to Tanya Harris?
She's mental health, Your
All right, we'll reset Ms. Harris. All right, Mr. Johnson, you're here in 2020 MM 1732AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. Do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer for Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 10 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the Florida Mall, no contact with any witnesses, abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
Your Honor, may I have a moment?
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Johnson is going to accept the offer and
Okay.
plead no contest.
All right, Mr. Johnson, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right,
I'm
did you
sorry.
understand everything contained in the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 10 days with credit for 2 days' time served. No return back to the Florida Mall at 8001 South Orange Blossom Trail. Abide by the trespass, no contact with any victims or witnesses. I'll order you pay your court costs by March 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you.
Okay.
Good luck.
Hey.
Please tell me your name.
Jonathan Gonzalez.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez, you're here in an out-of-county warrant out of Polk County. The judge did give you a bond of $250. So if you can bond out, you can bond out. If not, Polk County will have 24 hours, not including weekends, to come and pick you up. And if not, you'll come back before a judge. I'm not taking any action on any out-on-release case here. I have no idea what happened in the other county. Okay?
Thank you.
Please tell me your name.
Anthony Lee Huntley.
Mr. Huntley, you're here on an out-of-county warrant out of Brevard County. The judge did set your bonds, are they totaling 6,000?
600.
This is 2,000 on each count? Okay. So you have 3 counts and each bond is 2,000, so it totals 6,000. So if you can bond out, you can bond out. If not, Brevard County has 24 hours pursuant to our administrative order, not including any weekends, to come and pick you up, okay? If not, you'll come back before a judge. All right, please tell me your name.
Austin Triplett.
All right, you're here on an out-of-county warrant out of Putnam County. The judge did set your bond at none in that case. And so Putnam County will have 72 hours, not including weekends and holidays, to come and pick you up. And if not, you'll come back before a judge if they don't pick you up in that time frame. And I believe you have reporting requirements as well, so you may have to do that while you're at the jail, okay?
Does he have reporting requirements?
I did say that.
Oh,
That was the last thing I said.
I
It's
didn't
okay,
either.
Miss Bush.
I
been a long
zoned
week.
out and moved to the.
It's been a long week. All right, please tell me your name, sir.
Nicholas Coleman Williams, Richburg.
Okay, you're here in an out-of-county warrant out of Osceola County, and the judge did set your bonds. It looks like count 1, 2, and 3 are at none. Count 4 is 1,000. Count 5 is at 500. Count 6 is 500, and then there was a bond correction sheet for count 7, which should be 1,000. And so, if you're able to bond out, you can bond out, or no, you can't, because he has no bonds, right? You can bond out on the other counts, but, that may not be to your benefit. More counts? Oh, okay, so there's 250 on count 8 and 250 on count 9, and no bond on count 10. I'm sorry, I missed that. All right, and so, it's Osceola, so they'll have 24 hours to come and pick you up. And my guess is that they'll come and pick you up. And if they don't, then you'll come back before a judge here, okay?
Okay.
And any action on the,
No,
open Orange County?
no. I have no idea what happened.
Mr. Bailey refuses, Your Honor.
Okay, so it looks like Mr. Bailey yesterday was behavior. And so, I'm gonna find his refusal to be a waiver, and I'll appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent him. And Ms. Haling, do you wanna formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so he's charged with possession of cocaine in 2020. 28 CF 2875, and that was pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was already found. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond is set at 1,000, and he's out on bond. 2020 CF 943AO. I am going to revoke the bond and set that at none, and he does have an attorney in that case. All right, we ready on the 33 days?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I've got 2020 CF 1402AO, John Welter.
A notice of non-filing was filed on March 4th.
All right, that will be granted. 2020, or 2019, excuse me, CF 16959, Antonio DeMont Williams.
And information was filed on March 4th. Filing ID is 104343937.
All right, that will be denied. 2020 MM 806AO, Christopher Baljag.
And information was filed on March 4th. Filing ID is 104350359.
All right, that will be denied. 2020 CF 1423AO, Robert Smith.
A notice of non-filing was filed on March 4th.
All right, that will be granted. All right. I haven't looked at anything this afternoon.
I just counted 12, Your Honor.
12?
I counted 12, yeah.
Okay, I don't know what you guys want to do.
I know we have at least one PBL, so I'm okay with at least an hour. With the
An
12.
hour?
Yes.
Okay, so what's our makeup of the 12? Because it may be out of count, you know, like,
Well, there's a few felonies in at least
Okay.
one. I
It's
think
nine.
it's 9.
Yeah, 9 felonies, 3 misdemeanor pleables.
9 felonies, 3
Three
misdemeanor
is
pleables.
what it is.
Okay, and 1 is a PBL.
That I don't know.
Yes. And that time also includes me talking to my clients.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just didn't know the makeup of the cases because sometimes they're out of county.
Right.
You're not even going to be involved in any of that, so that's why I'm asking. So you want to come back at noon?
Yes.
Okay.
If that works for the rest of the staff.
Huh?
Fine. I said if it works for everybody else.
I think they all want to do it. I've never heard anybody say no, so I don't think that's going to start today. Arlene? Okay.
That's
It's a
the
yes-
only,
it's a
that's
yes for
the only
Arlene.
area you don't hear from.
We'll be back at noon. 20 CF 302780. You're arrested for driving while license revoked as a habitual traffic offender. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. He was not interviewed.
He does qualify, Your Honor. He was
Okay,
interviewed.
so I'm gonna place you on pretrial release. No driving without a valid driver's license, okay?
Okay.
Good afternoon, tell me your name.
Robert Dees.
All right, Mr. Dees, you're here in 2020 CF 3019AO. You're arrested for armed burglary of an occupied dwelling. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ms. Bush, does the state wish to be heard as to bond? It's a punishable by life felony.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts contained within the affidavit to issue the warrant. And in that affidavit, there are witnesses that are identified. Those witnesses were in positions to know Mr. Dees. They also subsequently identified Mr. Dees. This also contained within that affidavit are facts that are attributed to a surveillance video, and also Mr. Dees' statements regarding the nominal amount of money that was within the purse that was stolen. The state would ask the court to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Dees is the person that participated in this case and hold him at no bond as to the burglary of the dwelling.
Ms. Haley?
Your Honor, the facts contained within the affidavit doesn't mention that any weapon was found, that my client specifically had a weapon, and no witness identified my client with the weapon. Based on that, Your Honor, we're asking the court not to find proof evident, presumption great here. In the alternative, we do ask you to take consideration his lack of criminal history.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If there's 3 people committing an offense, one person has a firearm, are they all not able to be charged as committing the offense with the firearm?
I'm not saying that, Your Honor.
Okay,
I'm
well,
asking you.
but that was your argument.
Right.
Okay, so He can be charged just like everybody else.
He can be charged, but proof evident presumption grade rises to, it's a higher standard than reasonable doubt, which means it has to be facts presented to a jury and for a jury to determine. So based on that, Your Honor, he could be charged, but conviction is another thing.
Okay, so, well, I disagree with that because one person is only required to have the weapon in order to prove beyond a reasonable doubt even. So I do find proof evident presumption great, but I am going to give Mr. Dees a bond. Okay, I'm going to use my discretion and give him a bond. And so, Mr. Dees, before I get to your bond, you're not to go back to the victim's residence.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not to have any contact with any victim, any witness, or any co-defendant.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. You're not to have any drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
I understand all of those things.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your bond is set at $30,000.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right, please tell me your name.
Michael Galasso.
All right, sir, you're here in 2019 CF 6124AO. You're arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for your sentencing on January 28, 2020. The judge did revoke the bond and set that bond at none. Does he have the public defender or private counsel? You know who your attorney was?
My public defense was,
I don't know if that, you
I
have
was-
the public defender, so we're
Yeah.
gonna see.
the public defender I don't have. I had a attorney, but they told me that they withdrew from the case. And I wasn't understanding why. When I last spoke with them, they told me that I had court this month, on the 24th, I thought, for this
Okay,
case.
relax,
I was,
stop talking, and I'm gonna look at the case. Just-
yes, ma'am.
It's not gonna help you to talk. Okay, so you entered a plea on October 24th. The defendant, you requested, or your attorneys requested to set off sentencing.
Yes.
I'm just looking at the record here. And that was set off for December 3rd, 2019. You were present. And then on December 3rd, there was another request to set off sentencing. Okay. And that was granted, and it was reset for January 28th. You were present. On January 28th was the sentencing, and you did not appear.
On the 28th?
That was the date that it was set for sentencing.
I
That was
was-
the second reset, and you were present. So you
Right.
got notice of that, okay? So after you failed to appear, your attorneys have not withdrawn from the case.
They haven't.
No, the order to withdraw was back in 2019, and that was because my guess is you hired, yeah, that was the PD's order to withdraw, and that. And that you had hired Mr. Rivas.
Yes.
He's still the attorney in the case.
He is?
Yes. So the
Okay.
public defender withdrew from your case.
Yes, I remember that.
Because he filed a notice of appearance. So you were present at the hearing when Judge White reset your sentencing
Yes.
for the second time.
Yes,
Okay?
and-
So you're gonna have to get with Mr. Rivas, and he's gonna have to get you back on the docket for the sentencing and or file a motion to set bond for you in that case. All right, so you're gonna have to do that. I can't appoint the public defender in that case for you because you're already represented. 2020 MM 1743AO, it's a resisting an officer without violence. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender in that case for you. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it would be an adjudication of guilt, 15 days, Orange County Jail. I believe it's 1 day, 2 days credit times, 1 day credit time served, and court costs. And I'm going to correct it again, it's 2 days credit time served.
2 days? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. He was arrested on March 4th.
Your Honor, Mr. Galasso doesn't want to resolve his case.
Okay. So, Mr. Galasso, your bond's gonna stay at the $500. So you'll have to get in touch with Mr. Rivas.
How do I do that? How can I get in contact with them?
You'll
I
have to
don't.
call him.
I don't have any contact number or
I'll
anything.
give you his phone number.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck. All right, tell me your name, please.
Jacob Nicholas Gerald.
All right, Mr. Gerald, you're here in 2020 CF 3021AO. You're arrested for possession of synthetic cannabinoids. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'm gonna release you ROR, Mr. Gerald.
Thank you,
Okay?
ma'am.
So no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Don't miss court. Keep in touch with the public defender, okay?
All right.
All right, please tell me your name.
Anthony Lima.
All right, Mr. Lima, you're here in 2020 CF 3020, and you're arrested for possession of a firearm and the commission of a felony, possession of cannabis over 20 grams with a weapon, and I'll appoint, well, I find probable cause. I don't have a form for the public defender. Are you planning on hiring your own attorney?
Yes.
That's what you want to do? Okay. I'm going to place you in pretrial release. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no contact with any witnesses or any co-defendants,
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
and you're subject to random urinalysis.
Okay.
So no drugs or alcohol. If you test positive, that can be a violation of your release, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Napoleon Matthews.
All right, Mr. Matthews, you're here in 2019 CF 12085AO, and it's a failure to appear for pretrial conference on January 22nd, 2020. The judge did revoke your release and set your bond at none, and does he have the PD?
No, he has, Kendall
You have Mr. Ali as your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're gonna have to call Mr. Ali. Do you have his information?
Not on hand.
Okay. I'm gonna write it down for you.
Do they got a problem with the, do they have a problem with the paperwork, sending the paperwork out?
I don't know, I don't understand your question.
You understand what?
I don't understand your question.
I said, do they have a problem with sending the paperwork out to
What
come to court?
paperwork?
To come to court. I wasn't notified.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to bring that up with the judge that signed the warrant.
I understand. I was asking the question.
I don't think so. Usually they notify the bondsman or, and then your attorney.
Yeah, both of them, they playing around, they bulljive.
Well, it looks like Mr. Ali filed a motion to set bond for you today.
So I can get a bond today?
I don't know, not from me, but they filed a motion
Okay.
with the trial judge to get you a bond.
I need to call him and see what's going on.
Okay, so this is his number. You call him, tell him the judge here told you that you saw, that she saw the bond motion, and find out when they're gonna schedule it for you, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, tell me your name, ma'am.
Benet Willie.
Do we know what happened to Anya Ramsey? Okay, we'll take no action. Miss Wiley?
Willie.
Willie, okay. All right, Miss Willie, you're here in 2020 CF 3018AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine. And I do find probable cause. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in that case. And so, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You qualify for pretrial release, but you've got another case, 19 CF 8491AO. That's a failure to appear. And
Yes,
that was for a hearing on November 12th, 2019, and the judge did set the bond at none in that case. Does she have the PD in that case? No? Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna appoint the public defender in that case for you. Ms. Haling, do you wanna talk to her to see if she wants to do the pretrial, because if I release her to pretrial release, I guess technically she would still, if she's not able to get out on the other case, she would still not have to post a bond if she gets a bond in the other case. And I think she'd still be getting time. Unless she's really, unless she's out. So I think that's probably still her best bet. She would not have to pay the bond. They wouldn't process her, right, until she was actually released?
No, we wouldn't do anything
Okay.
PCR-wise until the
Okay,
other
all right.
case was closed out.
Yes, Your Honor, Ms. Wiley wants to do the pretrial.
Okay, so I'll put you in pretrial release, same, no drugs or alcohol, and then the public defender now represents you on the other case. They're gonna have to file a motion in that division, okay? And then Kozak bonded?
Kozak bonded.
Okay. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Juan Shaheem Allen.
Mr. Allen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're here in 2020 MM 1750AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do
No
find
warning.
probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. May I have just a moment?
Sure.
Your Honor, Mr. Allen doesn't want to resolve his case today.
Okay, Mr. Allen, I don't really have much information about you. Do you live locally?
Yes, 5212 Shaker Circle, Pine Hills.
Okay, and then do you work?
No, I guess Social Security tech.
Okay, and then, how are you gonna get to court?
I have a mother and father.
Your mom and dad? Do
Yes.
you live with your mom and dad?
Yes,
Okay, and you lived here your whole life?
yes.
Okay.
I can tell you one thing, Your Honor.
Well, no, I don't want you to talk
Okay.
about the facts, okay?
No, it's not about nothing.
Okay.
It's just
I'm
I
gonna
didn't have a
really-
choice to go to the hospital. Like they just took me.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm saying,
That's,
all right.
you're just talking
That's fine with
about,
me.
talking about the
I
facts.
didn't know. All
Okay.
right.
So if you have a defense, then, you
Yeah.
know, today's not the day,
All
but
right.
I'm gonna release your ROR.
All right.
You can't go back to the hospital unless they take you in an ambulance.
Right. They did.
Okay, I understand, but they're saying that they told you to leave and that you didn't leave, but I understand you don't agree with that.
Right.
I'm not saying that you're guilty of anything.
Okay, all right, that's
All right,
what I'm,
Okay, so all I'm saying is there's probable cause, and I don't know what the state will do, but you don't have to plead today if you have a defense. So don't go back to the hospital, the Hunters Creek ER, unless they bring you there in an ambulance, okay? Or you're like in dire need of treatment and you have to be seen by the hospital,
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
And abide by any trespass warning that they gave you. I'm not sure if they gave
Yes,
you
ma'am.
a piece of paper or anything like that, okay?
Yes.
Keep in
And-
touch with the public defender. All right, please tell me your name.
John McManus.
All right, Mr. McManus, you're here in 2020 MM 110AA. You're arrested for trespass in a structure as a refusal to leave, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Was there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. May I have a moment?
Sure. And Smith bonded?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, thank you. Mr. McManus is going to accept the offer and plead no contest.
I don't know what the offer is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
It's an adjudication guilt, 7 days, no contact with any witnesses, no return to the scene, abide by trespass warning and court costs.
Okay, and he's got 1 day.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you do have reporting requirements, Mr. McManus, so if you're at the jail, you're gonna need to comply with those, okay?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, if you have any questions about that, you can ask Ms. Haling what you need to do, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, is that your signature at the bottom of the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything contained in the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file, and I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 7 days with credit for 1 day time served. No return back to the Wawa gas station at 5820 Edgewater Drive. Abide by any trespass warning and no contact with any victims or witnesses. And I'll order that you pay your court costs by March 5th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck, sir.